All right, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and kind of got a mixed bag for you right here. What I was going to do, just so you know, is I was going to go back and grab this website that I had been working on for you, this one right here, and I wanted to redo it by just using jQuery. And as you can see, I've written quite a bit here. In fact, I've got 440 lines. Problem is, it doesn't work. So what I've decided to do is, rather than to spend the time trying to fix it, I'm going to go another route, and I'm going to talk about using a plugin for jQuery. All right. In other words, this is software that has been written to be used with jQuery. In fact, these are the three URLs that I will be referencing. There will actually be more, but these are the main ones that I'll be referencing in this series of presentations. So if you want to go and literally download or link to the jQuery Validator plugin website, you go to https://jQueryvalidation.org. If you go there, it gets you to right here. jQuery Validation Plugin. It says this plugin makes simple client-side form validation easy and still offers plenty of customization options. Now it says, for a quick overview, check out this Webucator video. So if you do come down here, and I would suggest you click on the one for YouTube, but if you click on it right here, you get this video that is 12 minutes long. I also have the URL for this. It's actually closer to 13 minutes long, again, from Webucator. It's a little dated in that it's 2014. Hey, that's, December, so it's 4 years ago. All right, 4 years ago, it will be on Friday. But it's done very well. All right, I would also suggest that as you go into that, when you get done, take a look at it, spend 13 minutes of your life looking at it, and then go over to this thing here that's called jQuery Form Validation for Dummies, also on YouTube. And what I've given you here are all three of the URLs. Now, I can't make you do this, but there's a difference between memorizing something where you're learning it and learning it and understanding it. That's what the path I'm trying to give you here. So I'd start here, I'd watch this video, then I'd watch this video. Now, to go through this in a little more depth and breadth of coverage, again, the site is http://jQueryvalidation.org. All right, that's the actual site. When you go here, this is what I showed you as far as being on the main page. So I showed you that already. All right. Shouldn't be doing things while I'm doing things. All right. So again, if you go on and you click in here and you click, yours will probably look different. And if you click the YouTube, it's going to get you to the URL I showed you. All right, which is right here. 12 minutes, 56 seconds. Also, when I went here, that's how I found the jQuery Form Validation for Dummies. 12:45. So collectively, about 26 minutes long to watch the two of them. Now, one way, if you decide that you do not want to download the actual jQuery Form Validation plugin, is to go out to Cloudflare, which is cdnjs.com. So if you go out to cdnjs.com as shown right here, and I should be able to do the same thing. So let's cdnjs.com. So if I come out here, exact same thing as you just saw. Again, it may look, I guess, a little bit different. All right. So if I, if I go out to there, and then in here, I click, for the search, what they want you to put in there is jQuery-validate. So I'm going to try that. jQuery-validate. All right. And they actually want you to use the first one that you find there. Right here. So you can see right here, this is a link you can use to bring that right into your HTML file. Put that in there, bring in jQuery, put this after jQuery, and then put your own jQuery file underneath that. All right, now again, this is old. It's got 1.14, etc. I don't know what it is now. It is, here's the link, it's 1.19. So I'm going to copy that link, and you'll notice that if I do copy it, boom, there it is. All right. So what I'll want to do first, is let's assume that I don't want to put in any files. I want to use just jQuery. All right, so there's jQuery right there. So I'm going to copy that link. All right, so I'm copying that URL. Whoops. And I'm going to put that up at the top. Then after that, I'm going to add jQuery validate. Then after that, I'm going to put in my source tag. So I'll need script tags for both of these. And then finally I'll need a script tag, source equals, for example, JS/ I don't know, whatever I call it, script.js. Make sure that you do it in that order. So again, I'm just using Cloudflare. You don't have to. This is bringing in the newest version of jQuery. This will bring in the newest version of the jQuery Validator plugin. This is where I'm going to add my JavaScript code that's actually going to put in what are called rules and messages for this plugin. All right, enough on that. Speaking of rules, etc., what you end up starting to do is you put in your document ready. Then you use the name of your form .validate, and virtually everything will exist inside of there. What do I mean? Well, let's try to show you. So I'm going to come in here. I call this thing Gym Form. All right. And I want to start a new file here. I'm just going to paste that in just so I have that. And I want to use here my document ready. And I'm losing it here this morning. Don't ask me why, but I am. Oops, Z. So really everything that I end up working with is going to be inside of here. All right, so this will end up becoming that, what did we call it here? I think scripts.js. I'm sorry. This will end up becoming our scripts.js file. All right. Now, then I want to come in here and say, this dot validate. What I'd like to do is make this small enough where I can see what's going on here. There we go. There's my document ready. Then underneath here, I need the $, then the name of my form in double quotes, which is Jim form. Just like that. Dot validate. And again, this will come down here. All right. And then the first thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to come in here and put in my rules. We'll talk about those in just a second. And I'm going to just comment that out for right now. Then after our rules, we're going to want to later down on here, we're going to want to put in our messages. All right. So, couple things. First, notice some rules. The name of the field, the rule. And you can have multiple things that you want to put on a field name if you put them inside of curly braces. Also notice after each rule that you put in, except for the last one, all right, comma afterwards. So in other words, we're going to put in something that's going to look like this. All right, so it's going to say rules, colon, and then there will be a curly, and then we'll say, for example, field 1, rule 1, comma, field 2, rule 2, comma, and then maybe field 3 has got more complex stuff. So again, we put it in like this, and we come over here and we say rule 1, so we got the name of the field. Let's see, rule 1, value, rule 2, value, etc. Then when we get done, a comma there, and let's suppose that the last one that we had was field 4. And we had rule 4 there. So this would be rule 3A and 3B. Now this isn't exactly how they're going to look, but I just am trying to get that across to you. All right? So you've got rules. Then I believe after you finish that, you put a comma. And the next thing we put in there then are our messages. This is where we can put in customized error messages. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to grab this and I'm going to change this to messages. All right, field 1, message 1, field 2, message 2, field 3, we've got the rule, and instead of a value here, we're going to put message 3A, message 3B, and field 4, this will become message 4. And when we are all finished, we don't have a comma there, but we bring in that. Now, that was very high level. And you're thinking, yeah, Jeff, that's very high level. I don't even really know what you're talking about. Well, the next thing I want to show you here, and I guess I put them in a little bit out of order. I'll rearrange these before I send, is this one right here. So, I want to come into jQueryvalidation.org/documentation. jQueryvalidation.org/documentation. What they have in the documentation, first of all, here's a big example. All right, it says have a look at this example. There it is, and there's actually two of them in here. This is a simple one. These are the two examples that they end up doing in the video. Notice in here, field is required to giving you generic error messages. So if I come through here and just put in, now notice if I put in a Q, it says please enter a valid email address. But if I say q@r.com, boom, it's valid. URL is optional, so I can leave that blank. But if I do put in something, it must be a valid URL. All right, and a comment is required. So now I put that in, and it's going to, it says at least 2 characters. Boom, it says it was submitted. Same kind of thing here. So notice if I put in my info, it suggests a username Jeff.Scott. Password, I'll put in hello123, hello1234. And it says please enter the same password as above. Now it's hello123, email, please agree to our policy. Well, if I submit, it says you must accept it. Boom. Now, right here, it says I'd like to receive the newsletter. If I click here, then I have to choose 2 of these. Notice I'm only going to choose 1, and I get an error message. Please select at least 2. Once I select that, boom, submit it. All right? And the code to do this, we can always go back, view our source, and there's our list of rules. I'm going to use this as a starting point because what I am going to do, and again, these are the rules that I just showed you from that documentation. So rather than this being page 13, it should have been 11. It should be page 11, and I'll fix that. All right. If you go into the jQuery form validation for dummies, in fact, I don't want to do that right now. Okay. This is the one you work on, and I'm going to renumber all these, but you end up working on this. It's a simple registration form. It's very, very, very similar to the one that's in the actual example that I just showed you. All right, you do that, you come in here, and you again add your links, jQuery, jQuery validate, and your own. Here they're even saying you could use Bootstrap, which I'm not even going to talk about with this. But you come in here, then they're going to do this inline and actually put their code right in there. I want you, of course, to do yours in an external file because it's better. And once you do that, and you start putting in your rules, and you put them in, then you start getting your error messages. All right? And very simply, 3 pages left in this little article here that's just filled with videos or images. First, if you go here, I'm not going to read that URL. You can see it on your screen. But they've got a bunch of different things that you can add. Remember, I had a credit card. So you can add credit cards, alphanumeric, bank account numbers, etc. So you can go there to find that. Sometimes, though, you've got some kind of a special situation. And what I mean is you've got something where, you know what, I really want to go in and I want to create my own method. Well, you can do that too by going out to this URL. You can create your own customized method and then add your own customized method to what exists. All right. And then finally, there's a localization thing which says, hey, the example that they give in here that they download Spanish, and then they go and they show the same error messages but in Spanish. I didn't even include that. All right, so this has been very quick. May not seem like it because it took 20 minutes, but what I'm going to try to do next is to go out and write my rules. Actually, I want to develop my rules first, and I'm going to put those in maybe as a comment or whatever, and then develop my rules, and then develop my error messages. I'm not going to go the route that they go in the videos where they do just the simple generic error messages and they don't use messages. I'm going to go for the whole thing. So I'm going to have my rules and then my messages underneath. Now, will I be able to do all that in one video? I don't have a clue. All right, but I'm going to try to at least start on that right now, and I'll be back with that very shortly.